links all the way back through Tanzania and across into Angola. Torrential downpours out of that as we head through the next couple of days. Meanwhile, up towards India, and for most of us here, it's fine and dry, just a bit of cloud there in the east. But really, it's the northern parts and through parts of Pakistan and Afghanistan where we've got lots of wintry weather at the moment. Here in Doha, though, it's going to get a bit fresher.
Qatar Airways, world's five-star airline.
Afghanistan is faced with a huge challenge.
Relations have gone really sour between us and our allies.
We have inflicted considerable damage on the enemy.
The people who make international headlines.
Ultimately, the truth will out.
They want to stop this publication of information that embarrasses them.
Make time for Sir David Frost. Frost over the world. On Al Jazeera.
Hello there, welcome back. Here's a reminder of our top stories. Bahrain's king has asked his crown prince to start national dialogue with all parties over the continuing unrest in the country. That's after more violence there on Friday. At least 24 people are reported to have died in clashes in Libya over the past 2 days. There's also been more violence during democracy protests in Yemen. 6 people have now died, dozens more are injured. And after thousands took to the streets to celebrate the removal of Hosni Mubarak in Egypt, the country's higher military council has said it will not allow strikes to go on. Right, the UN Security Council is meeting to vote on whether Israel should stop all settlement activity in the West Bank, including East Jerusalem. The draft resolution has fueled a frenzy of political wrangling between the US, Israel, and the Palestinians. While Jewish settlements are already deemed illegal under international law, in 1979, the UN Security Council adopted Resolution 446. That stated that settlement building on occupied Palestinian land had no legal validity. What's more, construction activity constituted a, quote, serious obstruction to lasting peace in the Middle East. But despite all of this, the number of settlers has grown steadily since 1979 and now stands at about 462,000. Right, well, let's go straight now to Al Jazeera's Kristen Salumi. She's at the United Nations headquarters in New York for us. Kristen, we are expecting that vote to happen sometime very soon. Tell us a little bit more about what's been going on behind the scenes of the UN leading up to this vote.
Well, the United States has been doing everything it can to stop this vote from happening, including a series of incentives and threats being offered to the Palestinians and Arab delegations here at the United Nations. Earlier this week, Ambassador Susan Rice, the U.S. ambassador to the UN, met with the Palestinian ambassador and other Arab delegates and offered them a number of things, including U.S. support for a presidential statement, which is technically a weaker document than a resolution would be. And the statement that she was offering was also weaker in its wording than the resolution that the Palestinians are putting forward today. Instead of condemning settlements and calling them illegal, it essentially did not accept the legitimacy of settlements that are being constructed in the Palestinian territories. The Palestinians outright rejected that offer. Yesterday, President Obama called Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, spoke to him for nearly an hour, apparently threatened that there would be repercussions if this vote actually did come to the floor of the Security Council. Again, the Palestinians resisted, said they were going to go forward with this vote. Today, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton called President Abbas. But none of this is getting through to the Palestinians. They're holding their ground and saying that they're going to go forward with this vote, which we are expecting at any moment now. And we are also hoping to speak to a representative of the Palestinians anytime soon. Kristen, what you're saying is quite interesting because, of course, the U.S., the Obama administration has paid a lot of lip service to the fact that settlements should be stopped in the West Bank, including East Jerusalem. So why is the Obama administration so sure that they're going to veto this vote? Well, the Obama administration and many U.S. presidents before President Obama have indeed come out strongly against settlement expansion. The argument now is that the Security Council isn't the place for this. This is detrimental to the peace process. It is seen as an antagonistic move towards Israel. All of these arguments have gone into their position. But also, the president is facing intense domestic pressure not to support this vote or let this vote happen, pressure to veto the resolution. Republicans and Democrats alike have been ramping up the pressure, issuing statements, calling for a veto. Of course, right now there is a Republican majority in the House of Representatives that the president has to deal with on many domestic issues. The presidential election is less than 2 years away, and it's a common, the consideration here is that it would be political suicide to support a resolution against Israel at this time.
And obviously, I guess the U.S. administration a bit unsettled about all that's happening in the Middle East. Just before we started speaking to you, of course, we spoke about what's happening in Bahrain, in Libya, of course, what's happened in Egypt. I guess the Obama administration not quite knowing how to play various events in the Middle East.
Well, they're in a tough position. Obviously, they know that a veto is going to make them look very bad in the Arab world at a time when the Arab street is on fire and against and rallying against governments there, many of whom are allies with the United States. And also, the rest of the world is really in support of this resolution. There's more than 100 nations sponsoring the resolution. All of the Security Council members are on the record as saying they're going to vote for this resolution, including European allies. Which says a lot. In the past, the United States might have been able to stop this vote from happening, but it looks like it's going to move forward, a sign of just how much frustration is out there with the peace process.
Well, Kristen, let's just focus on that a little bit then. If we do know that the Obama administration is going to veto this vote, why are the Palestinians so keen to try to push it through when they know that it's not going to happen?
Well, and you know, I mean, we don't know for a fact that the Obama administration is going to veto it until it actually happens, but certainly that's every indication that they've given indicates that, and other sources have told me that that's what they expect to happen as well. But the Palestinians are also facing domestic pressure because the peace process has stalled and appears to be going nowhere, because the Arab street is on fire and dissatisfied with their leadership and with, you know, the United States backing of their leadership. So the Palestinians certainly do not want to be seen as backing down at this time. And again, they also have support from the rest of the world. So perhaps they are seeing that this is their moment when they really have no choice but to go forward, and their best choice of making a statement, even if it does not become law, it sends a strong message to the world and to their own constituents back home.
Well, Kristen, we are hoping to speak to a PLO legislator. We're having some slight technical difficulties, but I'm sure we'll manage to very soon. For the moment, Kristen Salumi keeping an eye on developments in the UN. Thank you very much.